lovely. Sorry, I'm late. A little bit late. Let me just see that I'm live. Yeah, I'm live. I can see myself now. All right, cool. So, hi everybody. Just welcome. I wanted to speak to you again today, based on what I spoke about on Sunday. But anyway, let me say welcome. My name is Mathieu-Marius. If you're new here, hi. This is not my first live, but this might be the first time that you're meeting me. And so I just want to welcome you here to this space and let you know that you're welcome here. So I am Mathieu-Marius. I am a trigger management coach for high achieving mums who struggle or have slight difficulties with overwhelm, mum guilt, and self-doubt. And so what I do is I just equip them, encourage them so that they can overcome this. Like they can just overcome this and just become the thriving mum that they want to become, that they're meant to be. I do this so that they can actually thrive in their career and in motherhood at the same time. You don't have to choose. Sometimes we think that we have to choose one or the other. It's a calling. Like some people are just meant to work, some people are meant to stay up, but you can do both. You can do both. And so that's what I help mums just feel super confident, like have the unwavering confidence that they need, the confidence I call it, to be able to achieve this stuff, right? So today we are discussing more on your decision making, so managing your decisions, like thinking about what you're thinking about. So on Sundays I have the Untriggered Mama Huddle live on YouTube, where we discuss topics that I'll keep coming up for mummies, and that's what we were discussing. We were discussing the power of your decision. We went over like having an awareness that, no, first of all, what a decision is and what it's not, and so there was a difference between choosing and decision making. But I'll get into that in a minute. And so the first step was awareness, like becoming aware of something, that there's an issue, there's a problem, there's a niggling feeling, whatever it might be. So you have you get an awareness first of all, and then you end up being able to step to the next step, which is choice. So this is where sometimes we differ, or we think that that we're making a decision, but we're really making a choice. So decision means to cut. So to cut and to sorry if you hear the children, real life going on. So decision means to cut, like to cut off, literally, like to kill. So when you make a decision, it means you cut off any other option. So that's the difference between an option or a choice and a decision. So choices mean whatever's here on the table, I'm going to pick one. A decision means it might be none of those, but even if I do pick one of them, that's the route I'm taking. There's no other option. It has to work by hook or by crook. This thing is going, I'm doing this thing. I've decided. Because decision means coming to a conclusion or resolution, reaching that conclusion or resolution after careful consideration. So this is why I say it's really, really important for us to think about what we're thinking about, because when we make a decision, it should be done carefully, with careful consideration about all of the facts, all of the evidence that we have in front of us, anything that we need to find out all the stuff before we make decisions. That's why we should always ask questions, especially as mums. You know, when the children come to you and they're like, oh mum, like, oh, this person hit me, or that person said something, you can't just be like, okay, where are they, let me just, no, we have to hear all the facts first, because they are very good. They're very, very good at leaving certain things out, right? The things that they know that are going to get you thinking and saying to them, okay, where are you responsible in this? So that's one of the places where we need to be very careful about our decision making. We can't just come down hard without knowing all of the ingredients first, right? So first step was awareness. The second step is choice. So choosing to the next step is choosing. So it's choosing to make a decision. So you pay attention to what's going on around you and stuff like that. Like what was going on, what made you think that the thing, or do the thing, or what made that thing happen. And then you decide, based on all the evidence, all the ingredients, all the stories, whatever, what's going to be your next or the best method of moving forward. Okay? And we've got to remember that the double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Yeah, we're not trying to do this wishy-washy thing. We need to be, when we make a decision, it's, this is what I'm going with. And God loves that. God loves that about us, right? When we can just make a straight decision. So thinking about what you're thinking about, I wanted to speak to a little bit more about this, because obviously I went through it on the live, but there's some questions that you can really ask yourself to help you get to the bottom of what you're thinking about. And I don't think I went over everything properly. So if you're experiencing self-doubt and overwhelm and mum guilt and stuff like that, where does that even come from? Like, where? Because I've said it before, there's a voice inside your head which is really strange. Does it actually sound like your voice? Does it sound like you, or does it sound like somebody else? How do you know that's your voice? Whose voice is it? I'm not crazy. Think about it though. Anyway, there's this voice that's inside your head, right? And it tells you whatever. Sometimes it's good things, sometimes it's not so good things, but you hear these things coming through. And these are the things that help us to make our decisions. And this is why it's very, 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 very important to know where that comes from. So the decision is made, and we deal with the aftermath, whether it be good or bad, but we have to review it. What made me make that decision? So what are some of the decisions that you've made that are stopping you from achieving what you want to achieve? That's stopping you from becoming what you want to become, stopping you from going where you want to go. Like, as a high achieving mum, I know that you have like goals and visions. You've got things that you want to achieve, both in your personal life, like with your family. You've got like personal stuff for yourself, things that you want to fulfill, and then you've got like your career stuff that you want to fulfill. And your career meaning, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in corporate, if you are doing ministry, whatever the thing is that you're doing, you have goals and visions and high expectations to achieve these things. But what is stopping you? What are some of the decisions that you have made that have stopped you from reaching that level? And I can tell you some of the stuff that we think all the time. It's these expectations that we have, this expectation of, you know, you've got to get everything right. You've got these expectations that I have to be, I have to spend this amount of hours with the family, or I have to spend this amount of time at work. I have to bring in this amount of money. And I think what you need to think about is, what is your actual goal? What is the actual goal? Like, what is, but at the end of life, what's the goal? What's at the end? So a lot of people that I've heard, these millionaires, these rich guys, the women, whatever, that, you know, at the end of their life, never has anyone said, I wish I earned more money. I wish I spent more time at work and more time away from my family. Never in a million years. I've never heard it. I've never heard that. What I do hear is, I wish I had spent more time. I wish I had used that money to love on the people. I wish I had, like, it's just regret. It's a lot of regret. I made lots of money, but I didn't utilize the money to buy back my time, or to create the memories, to create the experiences that I really wanted to make the impact that I really wanted to make. The focus was all wrong. So we have to know, like, what are we thinking about? Why are we thinking about these things? Is it wrong for me to have this desire to want to achieve something outside of the home? Is there something wrong with me to feel like I want to achieve something with inside the home? Like, there's nothing wrong with either of the desires. God put them both there. The problem is when they conflict with each other. But why do they conflict with each other? Because you can do both, and you can do both very well. But what happens is, we listen to all of the voices, those voices. And there are too many of them. So we've got gurus, who are these, I don't know, amazing professional, these millionaire, gajillionaire people. We've got the parenting professionals, you know, with all of their doctorates and PhDs and all this kind of stuff, telling us what we should do and what we shouldn't do with our family, the amount of time we should spend, the amount of time we don't need to spend, all the activities we should be doing. So you've got society telling us, if you're a good mum, then you'll have your children doing one musical instrument, 5 sports, 2 languages, all that kind of stuff. So we've got all of those things going on at the same time of just managing life and wanting more from your career and wanting more from yourself and wanting to actually be able to be like comfortable in your own skin, and also like just wanting to, I just want to be able to, I just want to go out, I just want to go and have a massage, I just want to let my hair down, I just want to go and see my friend. You've got real stuff, all these other things going on, and you're trying to juggle everything at the same time. But we have to be clear on what our goal is and then decide to go for it. We have to understand that there's nothing wrong with the desire to have a career and to be an amazing mum. You can do both. Okay? You can do it. There are many of us out here that be rocking it. And why? It's because we've decided. It's the only option. It's the only option. So, question. What are my goals? What are some of the decisions that I'm making that's stopping me from achieving those goals? Another one. So why am I making those decisions? Am I doing it because I'm rushed for time? Am I doing it because it's based on an emotion? Am I doing it because I'm scared? Am I doing it to appease my parents? Am I doing it because it's like socially accepted, like it's the norm, you know, you just go with that, that's the general, that's what everyone does? Am I doing it for me mum? Am I doing it for my dad? Am I doing it because of a lack that I had in my life before and I don't want that to be perpetuated through my, like, into my legacy, into my generations to come? What is the reason that you're making those decisions? And be honest. Be very, very honest, because sometimes it's literally just to keep the peace. I don't want a headache. I don't want to stress. I don't want it. But when we do things like that, based on our feelings, based on keeping the peace, or based on our upbringing, or, you know, we have these, sometimes have these things of, our mindset is in a place of scarcity or lack or fear, based on how we were brought up, our culture, or whatever it might be. But it causes us the issue when the spirit is like agitated because you don't actually agree with the thing that you are doing, the thing that you're living out. So you're making a half decision, which is not really a decision because you haven't cut off all the other options. You're only doing it, but you're not doing it with your whole heart. And you're not even doing it with the full facts. You're just doing it with whatever's been kind of placed in front of you. You haven't done any research, you haven't done any reflection or anything. You're just going with it. And so this is the thing that causes us frustration and a lot of unresolved feelings. This is where self-doubt and stuff comes from, because it's in there, it's in the back, and we try to like leave it in the back. We don't want to deal with it. That's where the self-doubt comes from, the mum guilt comes from. This is where the overwhelm comes from, because of all the feelings of frustration, not really understanding what's going on, why is life not doing, why is life lifing and not lifing in the way I want it to? It's because we haven't taken the time to actually make a decision based on all of the evidence and all of the facts and all of the ingredients and all of the things, and do what that's aligned with us. We've done something out of alignment, probably out of alignment with God as well. Yeah, probably out of alignment with God as well. And so these are some of the questions that we have to ask ourselves and go back and dig deep and do the work, uncover what stuff that we don't really want to. We think, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay, because it comes out. And this is when we experience the overwhelm. This is when we experience the volcanic eruptions. This is why when one child's toy it's just you step on the one little piece of Lego and that's it. You've lost your mind. That's why when your co-worker forgets to hand you a piece of paper or do whatever it is that you ask them to do, or they've overlooked you or whatever it might be, that's why you burst, like you have that outburst. That's why when that family member has something to say, like you get this emotional reaction, like you just lose it. This is why all of this stuff happens. This is why we question ourselves, because we haven't done the thing in integrity, like fully understanding why we're doing what we're doing. That's why it's important to think about what we're thinking about, because there is this process. I'm sure we know it, maybe not by this name, but called automaticity. So I was teaching it to the children a couple of weeks back. They love learning these long words and stuff like that. Anyway, so automaticity is the process of making something automatic, where you go through so everyone goes through it in life, different so from childbirth, from birth to adulthood, you're always going through some kind of process of automaticity. But basically what happens is you go from a place of having to consciously do something to unconsciously doing the thing. And so you go from a place of unconscious incompetence, then conscious incompetence, then conscious competence, then unconscious competence. Blech. Basically, if we use potty training as an example, when you're unconsciously incompetent, that's when you don't even know that you don't know. You don't even know how to go to the toilet. You don't know anything about the toilet. You don't know. Conscious incompetence. I know that there's something missing. I know that I can't do this thing. I know that I need to learn this thing. So I know that the toilet is there, and I know that I can't use it properly yet. Conscious competence is now when you start using the toilet, but you need to kind of speak yourself through the process and keep practicing this thing. It's not fully ingrained yet. And then unconscious competence is you know how to do the thing. So like you're going to the toilet, you know exactly when you need to go to the toilet, you go to the toilet, you know all the procedures of washing your hands and stuff after, boom, it's done. You don't have to think about it anymore. You don't have to talk yourself through or anything like that. So we have to go through these periods of, in all things, like we're always learning. So we go through this unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. Not knowing what to do, then knowing what to do and just doing it automatically. So this is one of the processes that we have to go through, is even in our decision making, because we unconsciously make lots of decisions. We unconsciously just do things because it's the way that we have been raised. It's a way of the brain just saving energy. It doesn't have to keep thinking about everything. It just creates an operating system, and boom, it just runs. And this is why we end up in a lot of situations sometimes and we're thinking, why do I keep ending up with the same result? It's because the habit has been formed, the automatic habit, the automaticity, that process it's in there, it's ingrained now. So anytime you feel offended, boom, automaticity steps in, that runs that program. Oh, how dare that person, I've got to shout back at them, I've got to, when anytime you feel like you're unheard, anytime someone says something down to you and starts to make you feel negative, that system runs, that standard operating procedure runs. And so this is part of the method of breaking that system down, creating a new one. We need to think about what we're thinking about, starting with awareness. So when you get annoyed and you get frustrated about something, that's your first sign. That's your first sign that something is working. Okay? It's not a bad thing that you got frustrated. It's not a bad thing that you got overwhelmed or upset. But there's something there that you need to deal with. And now you've become aware of it. You don't just brush it under the carpet and be like, oh, that's the way I always. No. What caused that thing? You're now aware. It's time for you to start getting into the process of figuring out the rest of the process. And the 4-step process is, first of all, it is awareness. So becoming aware of the thing. Then we have action. No, action's number three. Action is number three. Number two is attention. So you start to spend time paying attention to all the things around you. So like, what is the thing that caused the thing? What's all the input? What's all the stuff that's going into the brain that's making me respond in this way? Whether it be from years ago, whether it be from something just now, like I just ate, I didn't eat, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm tired, whatever it might be. All of the things need to be thought about. So awareness first, there's something wrong here. Second thing is attention. Why did that thing happen? Why did that thing annoy me so much? Why did it aggravate me, agitate me? The third one is then action. Creating your action plan. What is it that I'm going to, once I've taken in all the information, all the ingredients, as I like to say, figuring out what my next best step is. That's you now deciding to do something about it. Now you can decide, I'm just going to leave it as it is, because that's what I always do, because it's easier. Or I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do this. I no longer want to have self-doubt. I no longer want to be overwhelmed. I no longer want to have this mum guilt. So I'm going to do something different. I don't know what that is yet, but I'm going to do something different, right? And then the last thing is accountability. Making sure that you are consistent at this thing. Whatever the thing is that you set out to do, making sure that you remain consistent. So you need accountability, whether that be from some apps, whether it be from your friends, whether it be from a group of people like that are doing the same thing as you. You need to have the accountability. So there are 4 steps to all of this stuff. So that's just the basic. That's the basic of creating any new, like, I guess a new way of thinking, a new way of life, whatever it might be, a new habit. We have to start with thinking about what we're thinking about. Why does it happen? The best questions to ask: who, what, why, when, where, how. All of those questions. Ask around the topic that you're struggling with. So self-doubt, where did it come from? When is it going as well? What is self-doubt? What does that even mean? Who gave that to me? Or who do I think I am to even have that self-doubt? Like, who am I? Who am I? Like, all of that kind of stuff. Where did it come from? Why do I have it? Why do I speak to myself that way? How do I get rid of it? How did it get here? How does it stay so long? How do I feel when I'm feeling it? Like, what actually happens physically? All these kind of things are things that we need to be very, very, very aware of. Now, obviously, I've just gone through this really, really quickly, and there's so much more to it, like a lot of brain stuff and all this kind of stuff, and we don't really have time for that. So I just wanted to give you a brief thing. Like, it's really, really important for us to think about these things. High achieving mums, the best thing for us to do is to get to work on this stuff, because it really does help us. It helps us in terms of our stress levels, which means we're able to function better at home and at work. It helps us with our stress levels, so it helps our health, so we're able to be around longer. It also helps us with relationships, because we're not stressed, or because we're in a nice place, a nice tranquil place. It just helps us to be able to be in relationship with people better and communicate on a better level. So and also, once you can just be calm and just make good decisions, it just helps you progress in your career. People want people that can make good decisions. And even if you didn't make a good decision, being able to take ownership and say, okay, I didn't make a good decision here, but this is how we can make it right. This is when people can see that you are well regulated, great at decision making, or good at fixing things, a good communicator, like you're effective, like you're just trying to better yourself and better everybody else, it works in your favor. And nobody wants us to be taking the stress of work home or the stress of home to work. So all of these things, good for us to have. Decision making skills, problem solving skills are like very, very high on everybody's list, their criteria for people working, for people to be in good relationships with anyway. So work on doing the work. Think about what you're thinking about. One scripture I want to leave with you is from Psalm 32 verse 8, and it says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye on you. That's what God said in Psalm 32 verse 8. So don't be worried or afraid about the police. So don't be worried or afraid about the decisions that you're about to make. They're necessary, but you submit yourself, like submit yourself to God. He says, I will teach you. I will instruct you in the way that you should go. Don't worry and don't fear about what everybody else is saying, what the outside is saying, what neighbors are saying, what all of these people, like what mom and daddy are saying and all that kind of stuff. Like, what's God saying? What is God saying? So think about the areas that you want to fix, the places that you wanted to go, the things that you wanted to do that you haven't done yet, because you've got these things limiting you. You've got this doubt bogging you down. You've got this mum guilt, like dragging you back all the time. Like, oh, I can't because if I, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. All of these things cause overwhelm. We don't need that. Let's deal with the stuff. And when you deal with the stuff, everything else becomes clear. Clarity brings joy. It brings joy. So let's get clear. Let's get clear on what it is that's what we want, what's stopping us from getting what we want as well. And let's make that plan. So I hope that was helpful for you. I will see you. I'll be back next week. I'll be back next week, Wednesday, live on the profile. Give me some more, I guess, like Wednesday wisdom. I don't know what I'm going to call this yet. We'll see. Also, Untriggered Mama Huddle will be moving to Mondays now, not Sundays. They'll be moving to Mondays starting from this week, but there'll be promotional stuff out and stuff like that. We're moving from Sundays to Monday. Monday will be at 12 p.m. so midday GMT BST, which will be 7 EST. So join me live on YouTube for the Untriggered Mama Huddle live, where we go over some more stuff, whatever God's got in his heart to tell his daughters, basically. Also, I'll see you back here next week. And also, if you do need some more help, if you want some more guidance, because I'm going to go deeper on this, I've got a masterclass coming up next week Tuesday, and I will leave the information for the event in the comments below. But if you want to go deeper on this, like to figure out actually the science of like how to regulate yourself, how to do these things properly, so how to go through that 4-step process well, to create lasting habits, to consistent change, so you're not having to continuously experience this overwhelm feeling and stuff like that, then join the masterclass. If you're interested, please send me a message or comment below or DM and let me know if you're interested, and I'll send you all the details, and I'll be awesome to see you next week Tuesday. But remember, Untriggered Mama Huddle live on YouTube is now moved to Mondays, okay? And I will see y'all later. Bye.